Welcome to What the Podcast. I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
Together we are
Ryan and John.
on the couch, as always, Cara, Tafolla, and starring the lovely Annie Skovmand. Hey.
Wow. Hard stop.
Happy Earth Day,
Oh,
everyone.
Happy Earth Day to you.
Earth Day.
What's
Today's Earth Day.
Who's that song by? It's been stuck in my head for the last 3 weeks.
Harry
Really?
Styles.
Oh, really? Harry Styles.
That's Harry Styles. Yeah.
Styles.
I'm bad at
That's
artists
all right. That's
and all
fine.
that. I don't-
He kind of had a big, massive concert last weekend,
Ooh,
and he's gonna have one this weekend at Coachella.
Oh, that's right.
Coachella.
I saw that he did Shania Twain. Feel
Yeah.
Like
And he
Woman.
brought her out.
So
Yeah,
good.
she was there.
That's such a cool entrance too. Did you guys see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like if I was that kind of like star caliber, I would do that kind of stuff all the time.
And they
But
Like,
then
just
it's not.
bring out,
Then it's not.
Ladies
Oh,
and gentlemen, Shania Twain. You know, like just cause, like just play the song.
nothing. Your
No, her
accents are
intro
so
is
good.
just the beginning of the song, though, which is great.
No,
Let's
the
go,
intro was
guys.
so good because they just did that famous lick, and
Yeah.
they just
Awesome.
so
there. I
good.
saw this one video, and it's this guy who was just recording the concert,
saw this
and it
one.
happens, and he goes, "I swear, if he brings out Shania Twain, I'm gonna lose my shit." And then it does it again, and he goes, "No," and all of a sudden she pops up, and he's like,
Yeah, that's cool. Coachella, huh? Hot take.
Yeah, hey.
What do you think about Coachella?
I think it's done.
You think it's done?
I think it's so not about the music anymore, and it's about like just
Well, it's
being
about
there.
the
and
festival.
I know, but what does that even mean?
Hasn't it always been about that,
bunch
though?
of skanky ladies go out and
She's classic.
you know,
Okay,
and,
and
and
skanky
boys
men.
and boys.
"Yeah, can you not
Skanky
talk
men.
about Karen
Ladies
and I
and
like
gentlemen,
that?"
do you guys go to Coachella?
Well, we just classify ourselves as skanky ladies.
Yes.
So if you could just
You know what,
not
that
associate
was a
us.
gross generalization. Skanky humans. I'll say skanky influencers because
Yeah,
the
yeah,
influencers get out there, they do their posts, they do their
I saw
Just
something
TikToks.
too. Somebody who went to Coachella kind of did a little TikTok about their experience. They didn't go this year, but they were like, I went in 2019 and it seems so cool on Instagram, but unless you have thousands of dollars,
Yeah.
you're staying
Or you
in
booked an Airbnb.
yeah, you're staying in a tent and it's 100 degrees and inside the tent it's 112
Rough.
and she's like, it was just so rough. And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't sound fun to me
And
at
I
all.
saw people were trying to offload their passes, 2 passes for $400. And
Yeah.
I almost am like, okay, awesome. Yeah, let's do it. I'd love to go see a bunch of the people on the lineup.
Yeah.
But it's then you get there and then you have to find somewhere to stay.
The
and
food's
then it's
really expensive, I heard.
You're hot.
Well, then it's
you're
like-
overheated.
It's like any convention really, where
Sure.
it's okay, there's I went to VidCon once, and it was you can
You went
they
to
have
VidCon?
yeah, and
Big
in
fan.
2014,
That's so awesome.
and there had all these people that for the lineups and all these different meet and greets. You really can only choose 2.
Yeah.
Because you're waiting in line for 4 hours to
And they
do
intentionally
any of
do
them.
that. Over there in, at this stage is going to be Harry Styles, but at the same time, there's another artist
Yeah.
over there.
You kind of have to pick and choose. So
Whatever.
it's
yeah.
and then you really the reality is some people probably only went and saw Harry Styles because they waited the whole time to just see him.
Did Ye pull out already? Did
Yeah,
he pull out?
yeah.
he's long gone.
Yeah.
I saw the picture of him and I was like, that's not going to
No.
last long. We know.
Yeah,
Ye.
he played. I think Billie Eilish was there.
Is
I can't
that
tell you on any of the other names.
I saw a video. I don't know if it was
Lawrence,
at Coachella
that band
where.
we played.
Oh, they did.
They played
Did
at
Lawrence
Coachella.
play?
Yeah.
Oh wow,
That's cool.
A lot of cool names like that. You know,
Yeah.
I love to see people come raise the ranks.
Yeah,
Now-
Variety did a top 5 best performances and Lawrence was in there. I was like, wow.
Right on.
They're kind of a smaller band, but that's cool.
Would you
Now,
see there?
has Taylor Swift ever played at Coachella?
No.
Good question.
No,
Do you think
probably
she
won't.
would?
She probably won't.
No.
She's not a sellout. Come on.
Okay.
I'm
well,
asking the Taylor expert in the
Right,
room.
you're right, you're
so
right,
if the patriarchy could take a backseat into the peanut
True.
gallery,
Hey,
that'd be
classic.
nice.
Hey,
Happy
true.
to.
I don't know why she wouldn't.
Exactly. So
let's
why
confirm.
not?
Maybe because there'd be way too many people.
Yeah.
How much do you think they make on something like that? An artist to headline?
I don't think
Coachella
nearly
like
as
that?
much as you'd think.
No.
Well, can we find out?
Tickets to Coachella are expensive, but
I had a friend who bought Coachella tickets,
Mm-hmm.
then was like, "Why am I going to Coachella? I don't want to go." Sold them, and
Okay.
then last minute repurchased them. And I was like, and then went, and I was like,
Sure.
what?
Why?
Like,
Why?
Like
What's the
why?
point?
I don't know. People love it. Like,
If you're so indifferent about it, though, like,
Just keep your tickets.
To Annie's point, like, I think people do kind of just go for the vibes.
don't
And I'm
know.
not a big, like,
Wouldn't you go for the vibes?
I don't know if I'm a big, like, festival person. Like,
I'm not.
going
That
just,
sounds like a nightmare to me.
Like,
Wouldn't you just want to go once?
maybe we will
For the
go, like,
memories.
one
For the
the memories,
memories.
right? You go and
To say you
take
did
pictures
it.
of yourself.
Kind of
It's
cool
like
content,
Woodstock,
yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
imagine all the people who
it's not like
were
Woodstock
driving
at all. For the
but no,
record,
but I mean, like we're driving on their way to Woodstock and turned around. It's like you almost just want to be able to say, "Yeah, I
Yeah.
went." You could have had a
Sure.
horrible time and sat in the back and not actually
Right.
been
You
able to
think
hear
so?
anything. But then you could be like, "Oh, I went to Woodstock."
Yep.
I know,
It's like-
I know what you're saying, but like,
I
do you
think
think
it's
Coachella is that though?
No, I don't think
think-
it's nearly as
because it's
infamous.
been going on for a while, and it just increasingly gets more like.
But the reality is, like, there would be no Coachella without Woodstock. So
True.
in some way, that there
I
is
think
an
if you're
inherent
young
connection.
and you go with a big group of friends and you like the lineup, like,
fun.
why not? Sure, right?
I will say it does
guess.
appeal to me in a group environment. Like
Yeah,
if you're
totally.
going
You have
with
to get an
friends,
Airbnb.
that
Go
sounds
and
great.
stay in a tent and
No, you
overheat
get an
for 3 days
Airbnb.
and dehydrate and
Airbnbs are also, they're hiked up like 3-4 times its
totally.
original
They
price.
They
Who cares?
probably-
You fill that house with all your friends.
you'd have to.
Yeah, but then again, then you're sleeping on the floor
Oh.
for $300.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
Interesting. I
Go
looked
ahead,
up the singer, how much a singer gets paid to play at
For
Coachella,
a
right?
festival. Oh, Coachella specifically.
Coachella.
Yeah, for Coachella specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. It says smaller acts actually tend to get paid more money, like
Oh, yeah,
for
I'm
how
sure.
much for like the range of like
Probably production cost.
yeah
too,
production
I would
costs.
imagine.
Like they actually make the most profit, but they like at Coachella they can make anywhere from 10,000 to 15,000, like basically
Right on.
for like
Yeah.
a smaller gig.
Sure.
That's like nothing.
So if like a smaller artist is getting that, I'm sure that
Yeah, but
like
think about the
Eminem,
exposure.
Oh my
Eminem
gosh,
got
yeah.
paid $1 million.
Skyrockets.
Lady Gaga got paid $4 million. Calvin Harris got paid a little
Oh
under
yeah,
$1 million.
those top of the
yeah,
roster
so
names.
it just kind of depends. I'm sure they negotiate it.
I think you're
Wow.
right though. I think it's more of a marketing investment.
Oh yeah, if
Yeah.
I was a
People are
small
like, oh,
band,
yeah.
like, and I'm not even saying Lawrence is a small band, but Lawrence, has TikTok
fairly
fame, and they've done some
guess.
concerts. But I think, like, for them to go to
Having your
Coachella,
name be on that
it's gonna.
flyer.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, and
yeah.
at that point, you're like signing up for whatever they pay you. It's not like you're at the point. If you're a smaller band, you're not like negotiating your price of how
Yeah.
much they're willing to pay
You're
you
just
to be
going.
there.
A lot of bands.
Hey,
think about
maybe you are.
openers at these big, Harry Styles, like the people who open for
Yeah.
Harry Styles. Like they're probably not making a whole lot of money, but the exposure to be traveling with Harry Styles, like that's got to be worth its weight.
It's a what do you call it? Not lateral movement, but upward.
Well, I always think of the
Yeah,
backup
climbing.
singers.
Yeah.
Social climbing or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the backup singers who are like, we went to John Mayer recently,
Mm-hmm.
and he had two
not all of us.
amazing, backup vocalists. And I always look at them and I'm like, you are just as much on tour as he is.
Yeah. He
And
pretty
you're singing
famously
just as
has
much.
a great backup band, like
Yeah.
always.
It's got to be fun to be
Yeah.
backup band for someone like that.
It's great when they actually
can
get
do what
like
you love.
shouted
and it's all
out,
the
though.
same, right?
Yeah, when they get credit.
They get credit and they get
Sure.
sometimes they get like a little like solo of something.
Or the like cameras
Always.
actually go to them. They're not just like in the corner in all black in the
Yep.
shadows.
I follow a
doing
guy
their doo-wop moves.
who
Right.
played electric guitar for the Jonas Brothers, and like his Instagram feed was so interesting because it wasn't like he had followers, he had a couple thousand
Yes.
followers, but it was so like BTS of the whole tour because he is on tour with these guys and like is literally like eating lunch with the Jonas Brothers, but like he's just a normal guy who has like 10,000 followers on Instagram. Like that means nothing nowadays. You know
That's
what I'm
probably
saying?
the best of both worlds.
Oh, the
is
best.
You get to be on tour, literally on a Jonas Brothers tour, and you don't get recognized. You can like go into a McDonald's and get a burger, like.
Yeah.
You don't get recognized. You don't get like bombarded.
And he had all these cool
Have a good
pics of
time
like
playing music.
ripping with like Kevin, like on guitar, they're like leaning on each other. I'm like, that's
Well, it's
gotta
like
be
you're
so
living
cool.
your rock star dream without the like fame.
Pressure.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
you don't
and-
have to be famous.
And the ones that know you are like super fans. Like they truly appreciate you for like you're playing. Like
Super fans are a different breed
Oh, yeah.
of themselves.
absolutely.
People-
Well, I guess I don't mean super fans. I mean just like fans
People
of
who really know
the
this
art.
concert,
Wait,
yeah.
what was the concert your parents went to? There was like a girl in the front row, and they were like, and the person recognized her and was like, "This is her 30th show seeing us."
Maroon 5.
Oh,
pretty.
Maroon 5.
They have,
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess, a woman that has followed the band for like 25 years or something. Like has been at every show since they started playing, like in dive bars. And they're like, we got to shout out. I don't know what her name is, Maureen.
I was
in
gonna
the
say
front
Maureen.
row.
That's so weird.
Because Maroon.
Connected.
Maureen. Maybe
That's probably
Maureen
it.
5.
Okay, fine.
And they're like, Maureen's
Maureen
been in
5.
the front row at every show we've ever played, and we want to shout her out. And I guess they do it at every show.
Hey, Maureen, how the hell do you afford that? Like, can
Hey,
you
she's-
just
she's
hook
got-
a sister up with your
benefactor.
financial advisor?
They probably hook her up at some point.
At some
but-
point, they're like, Maureen just has
No,
lifetime
at some
It
point they're like,
wasn't a-
Maureen, go
She gives
home.
us tips, shakes
Don't
notes.
Hey,
follow us.
Maureen, go home. Well, I
in the
went
beginning,
to,
it wasn't an investment because they were just nobody. but-
I went to
Yeah.
a John Mayer concert at the very gracious hand of my friend's sister,
Mm-hmm.
who had bought in a bunch of tickets. Like, and it was her third time seeing him front or second row, and he
Wow.
literally like threw his guitar pick at her at the end of the night.
Yeah.
And I guess they like kind of made eye contact because she's met him too. She's done meet and greets.
Sure.
She's seeing him
That's-
again, like flying to go
He's
see him at
still
other sections of his.
He'll never
But
be
like,
in a
it was just
relationship.
Can't nail
so
that guy
weird
down.
to like.
He's married to the music.
Like he literally like recognized her, and at one point, and I don't know if it was to her, but to someone in the front row, he literally mouthed "Welcome back." So it's like that. Like if they're
Yeah.
right there, like they see
Yeah.
your face enough. It's like
so cool. Our friend Michael Pinning is a pretty big Andy Grammer fan, and
Yeah.
he has a tattoo that's like an Andy Grammer album cover or something,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
lyrics.
yeah.
And he's also met Andy Grammer a few times, and he's like, hey, like, remember me? And he's like, oh yeah, tattoo guy, like Michael, what's up?
Yeah.
Like they've gained this rapport, I guess, just because he's like a
Tattoo
huge fan.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's tattoo guy.
He told me that the last time that he just got to see him again.
Yeah.
And he,
Oh my
he did the
gosh.
last time. He was like, Andy Grammer like did remember him. Was like, oh, you're in music, blah blah blah, and, like
Yes.
like new details. And he's like, how's that go? Andy Grammer's like, how's that going? And Michael's like, it's going. And Michael's like, I had every opportunity to like
Say I had a
actually
new
say
song
stuff,
out.
and I just said it's going.
Oh my gosh, that's devastating.
So awesome.
I've been there. I got that.
Who have you met in person?
We Cara one time won tickets to Cage the Elephant on the rodeo.
I
Oh, wow.
did. It was one of those weird things where you get an email that's like, "Oh, enter to win this." And you're like, "Oh, this is fake," but I'm gonna enter it anyways. And I
It's
won.
fake, but I'm gonna do it.
We got to go backstage, like the underground. If you've seen Almost Famous, we got to go underground, the sports arena, and
Whoa.
meet the band. I got to
Yep.
see Matt Schultz in person, and I was like, dude, I'm a huge fan. I've seen you like the last few times you were here at the sports arena. I've seen you. And he said,
Literally, that was it.
They were high out of their
they
minds.
were super.
They were
You could
so high.
physically tell they were like, just get me out of this meet and greet. Like,
I wonder
I'm
how much of that
super
takes
high
a
right
toll.
now.
You know what I'm saying? Like after you do so many, I wonder if there's like this inherent like, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could do meet and greets if I was that famous.
So rough, but I was just like, okay, well, can you sign my album? He's like, yeah.
Yeah, he signed the record.
Great, cool, have a great show.
Good luck out there.
Yeah,
He's
kind
like,
of rough.
He's like, yeah.
That was
He's like,
it was very. They were all
The whole
like,
band was like, oh.
really?
I was like, man, you guys are awesome.
like you guys go on stage in an hour and a half. Get pumped.
Yeah, I guess not. I
Right.
mean, whatever. Teach
Which
his
they
own.
did. The show was great.
Yeah, it was a great show, which was bizarre. I was like, wait, they were just asleep
They
a
were
half hour ago.
sleeping.
I got nervous talking to Stephen Day.
Stephen Day was a cool one too.
Yeah.
he's like an up and coming artist too. But like Olivia's really got us into his music, and so we got to see him at the Soda Bar, which was like a
And he's like
smaller
our age.
venue.
Yeah.
I think he might be a year.
He's a little
younger
bit older
us.
than we are, and just like he was just like there after the show. He was just like, "Hey, here we are." I was like, "Oh, hey."
And that's so cool with like
So cool.
like a smaller venue with kind of like a newer band.
Yeah.
You can actually like they actually want to hear
Chat
like
them up.
talk to people.
Yeah.
So cool.
That's the thing that I always felt sad about like the bigger bands like John Mayer.
Mm-hmm.
There's a part of me, especially his like sob rock, like this new
Yes.
album.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so sad, and I felt like he must be at some degree so lonely.
Yeah.
Because like there's probably
Well,
only a
like,
small
every
handful of people that
single-
can really get to know him.
Totally.
Every concert that we've been of his has him being like, "I'm single.
It's so
Anyone
funny.
out there for me?"
But he just makes these
jeez.
albums that are just like larger than like his writing is so larger than life. His
Yeah.
life is like I don't even know who could relate to him other than he's been posting a lot about Bob Saget, and
he's
pretty
so
bummer.
sad.
But
Yeah.
you know, just megastars, no real at that point, right? Like,
It's crazy. The reality is so different.
And it's
but-
just crazy, like how fast you can become famous.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think of Tom Holland, and like he truly became famous like overnight with the freaking Spider-Man and whatnot.
Papa D just walked in. What's up, brother? How you doing?
mid-pot. No, yeah, we started without you. Sorry.
Oh, dude, we didn't set up a mic for you. Sorry, man.
Here, Dave, you can just hop on this one. You want to talk?
Next week.
Anyone, the
Man.
listeners,
Haven't seen
my
that
brother
guy
just
in
popped to the room.
hot second.
I want you to know that happens every time he comes while we're recording. He just comes through that door
Just
like
pops
he
right
owns
in.
the place. And we record the same time every week, by the way. And nobody seems
yeah.
to really understand that.
Well, speaking of mega fans, last weekend,
Oh, that's right.
a new Harry Potter movie came out to a whopping, or should I say not whopping, $43 million opening weekend. The lowest of any Harry Potter movie.
Isn't that kind of funny that that's the lowest? $43
oh,
million.
yeah, that's like-
dollars.
But
That
you
sounds
do-
like their budget.
Yeah, that like probably was how
probably
much they
was.
put into it.
So the question is, do we care about Harry Potter anymore?
No.
Okay, would you call this Harry Potter though?
Well,
This is
whatever.
Fantastic Beasts or
Yeah.
whatever, but it's,
third
it's a
installment
splinter
of-
it's a splinter of.
Which I think we saw the first Fantastic Beasts movie.
Yeah, I've
Great.
only seen the first
And
one.
then
Great.
there was a second one. And
Which
now there's
co-
a third one.
Yeah.
Secrets of Dumbledore
The
is
secret.
this one.
The last
You
one
know
was
what?
like the rise of
Well, because
Harry's
the last one was
brother
Johnny
or
Depp,
something.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was the second one was Johnny Depp.
Yep.
This
now
one
he's-
is now Dumbledore.
and
It's,
he's been
Ju-
replaced.
Jude Law.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Is that his name?
Yep, Jude Law.
Yep.
Yeah, Jude
He's
Law's the
Dumbledore.
star of this one. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a young Dumbledore. I think it's
Youngledore.
kind of an interesting premise, I would say, like because you meet when you especially in the Harry Potter series, you meet these characters and they do feel like they have this like kind of long life and interesting story just from like the way that they're presented to us. So it is an interesting take to go like, okay, what was Dumbledore like when he was
Younger.
A younger man, and
Younger
it's an interesting premise. I do think it's kind of a stretch in the scheme of like, I don't know. I mean, is it really even worth it? Like, I never really got into the Harry Potter's situation. So my family was huge Harry Potter. Never got into it.
Oh, your family loved Harry Potter.
Oh, they went. They
Who
went
was the biggest Potter nerd?
So
Was it
it
Bobby?
was really Bobby and my
knew
mom.
it.
My mom really loved it too. And so Bobby and my mom were like primarily like kind of the engine behind it. But then David would jump on and Beth would read them. I read the first book, and so what they do is they'd all read the whole series. But as the movies were coming out, they'd read the book for the movie that was coming out, reread it, re-enjoy it, and then they'd all go to the premiere.
See, I did it opposite. I watched all the movies and then I did audiobooks. I didn't read the books because I just don't have that
right,
patience.
right. Who's got the time for that?
hearing
But
the
I would
movie.
rewatch the movie and then listen to the book, and that way I enjoyed both of them. It wasn't
Sure.
like
I
a
still have
how
not
how
read
did
the
they leave
books.
that out? How dare they? It's like I like fully enjoyed the movie, and then the book was even better, and I was like, wow.
Right. Well, as you guys may or may not know, Harry Potter is of the devil, right? So
Oh.
not
You
never-
exactly,
you never-
It might have
not
been.
exactly a Christian franchise. So
I was also of the devil when I
yes.
listened to it. So
so
Casual,
like
casual.
Halloween, the Tafolla family did not celebrate in
You
the
didn't do
Harry
Halloween?
Potter.
No.
that was a whole
Devil's
episode.
Holiday.
Remember?
Come on,
We celebrated not Halloween, and then I got
pagan
older.
holiday. Come on.
Pagan holiday.
I do remember this
Annie,
briefly.
you've
Yeah.
been, I just want to say you've been on this podcast for a while now, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm loving having you on.
It's like
Just
a new
because,
podcast
I feel
every
like
week.
It's a brand new
Like
journey.
we're telling the same stories every week.
It's kind of fun. 'cause
I'm
I can
like,
just
what?
Tell us. Wait, what? You guys are married? So
You
dumb.
and Cara kiss?
So dumb. But anyways, so I gained a knowledge of Harry Potter later in life. Like when the last couple of movies came out, I was like,
Did you love it?
Got into Harry Potter, loved it.
Really?
Like reread a bunch of the books, like watched all the movies, binged them.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean, now it's kind of just like I feel like Harry Potter was one of those franchises that was like a clear end. Like, okay, now it's
Yeah.
done. And now and
Boys will
Which
live.
it
the last
did
movie came out in
for a while.
2009, 2010, something like that.
I think
like
2010.
2010. And I feel like nowadays it's more like, oh, we're gonna milk a franchise till it's
Well, even
dry.
like Harry
We're
Potter.
on Fast 10 now. Fast and Furious.
Fast Furious 10.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Gosh.
10, it's like 47.
Yeah.
And freaking
Feels
Star
like it.
Wars 5 bajillion. If you click on Star Wars and Disney Plus, it literally
There's
has
truly like 30 movies you
there's
gotta watch.
30 movies. There's a million TV
series.
shows. And then there's an animated TV show that's about this. And then there's the Magdalorian, where the hell it is. And that's
Magdalorian.
Magdalorian.
No, you're absolutely,
No.
you're
That was
right.
it.
it's.
You nailed it.
I feel like it wasn't that hard.
Mandalorian.
I think it's
Yeah,
time
yeah,
to jump into the
Magdalorian.
conversation a little bit. Annie don't like Star Wars.
I've never seen it.
Now
never will.
you've
never
also
seen it. That's the
say
problem.
Never will. I
Okay.
want that on the record.
That's-
No, we
Okay,
should
that's-
watch it.
okay.
I
You
will
like
never
it.
watch
I'm
it.
sorry.
He would
I
like
thought you had seen them and chose
You
not
also
to
don't like
them.
Marvel movies, so I don't trust you as far as I could throw
Now
you. truly.
that is the thing. So do you not like a franchised movie collection?
I think maybe that might be it.
Is it because you feel like you need to watch all of them?
It's because I get so like first of all I get too caught up in it. It's even like TV shows.
too cool
like,
for it.
I
Okay,
don't
so I
like
was
TV
gonna
shows
ask,
with
like-
long running like storylines. Like if it's like
Really?
if it cuts off and you don't know what's gonna happen, you have to wait till next week.
So
Like
you like Friends?
I like Friends,
is
like
each
stuff that's
episode
like-
is
That's-
different.
yeah, maybe I just have a short attention span.
I think.
I think
Yeah.
I don't want to say it. I want to be like, yeah, your palate is like a single digestible.
Yeah,
like,
Annie, you're not
piece of
cultured.
art. No, I'm not gonna say that.
I think you would like the first.
I mean, I
think you
think
would like
it.
Star Wars because you don't have to watch anything else.
But here's my thing,
It
right?
ends.
It's the thing I don't like about it is this. First of all, and maybe it's because I don't want to be like mainstream.
ahead.
It kind of freaks me out how into it people get, and it's the same with Marvel. Like I think what freaks me out is almost like the cult mentality of it, where I'm
Okay.
like, I don't even
Okay.
like, I don't want to get caught up in this. I don't even like this. Kind of freaks me out how people like. I've had people really question if they even want to be my friend over the fact that I've never seen Star Wars.
That's a little intense.
Yeah, I'd probably
And
get
it's
new
happened.
friends at that point. Like,
Oh, and I have Derek. We're not friends anymore.
okay, wow, wow,
Called him out.
Derek.
straight up
Derek
to
doesn't.
Derek.
First of all,
Derek
I'm
doesn't
sorry.
listen.
So I'll play devil's advocate as I sometimes do.
sure.
I'm a major Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars.
Like in reality or
in
devil's
reality.
advocate?
No, in
Oh
reality.
yeah, new friends. Replacing Ryan.
No, but listen.
This
but
is
listen.
a casting
No,
call.
Okay, and this is where I differ from your previous friends. Is that I'm not gonna be like Annie, like you're a heathen if you don't watch Star Wars. Like it's an acquired taste, maybe to each his own. I mean, it's not that acquired.
watch
like
it
millions
till
of
I
people
met
have
him.
watched it.
Yeah.
But
Millions of people have watched.
it's
not
one of the
that
biggest
acquired,
franchises of
for
all
the
time.
record, but
It's made billions of dollars, but it's fun.
huge.
I mean, no, I'm just playing. I'm just
Only
playing.
watch it for young Harrison Ford.
See, and now I
Hey.
can get behind that. That's what I'm talking about. Indiana Jones, anyone?
I think if you go into
I
it
love
with
Indiana
a
Jones.
palette of like, I'm just going to watch it as a movie, not
Yeah.
like
A
the first
series.
of 10 movies that I'm gonna watch.
Yeah.
'Cause there's
I
no
think you get
cliffhanger.
a bigger enjoyment.
Like
out of
I
it.
like Indiana Jones, and that is a franchise
Great
that has
movie.
what, like 5 to 7 movies.
Five?
There's 3. No, there's 4. There's
4.
5 to 7.
Well,
What number you
17.
seen?
There's
Indiana
actually-
Jones,
They're all
17.
different
Well, I
stories.
pause
There's
it and then I just start over, and then
There's 3
I
good
count
ones.
as 2.
There's one we don't talk about.
What, the one with Shia
With
LaBeouf?
Shia LaBeouf. in
Shia
it.
LaBeouf one,
I
yeah.
love Shia LaBeouf though.
But even that, right? Like you can
don't know.
you can watch an Indiana Jones movie and
Yeah.
it has a full storyline and it's a great movie.
But so does Star Wars.
But the thing that upsets me with like the
Sure.
Marvel universe is everything is so like.
But
Connected.
Marvel also
There's,
has
like-
a full story as well.
But then there's things where you're like, what are they talking about? How does he know him? Who is that? And it's like,
Yeah,
oh, you met
I
him
mean-
4 movies ago in Thor 37, and now he's here in Hulk 8, and you know they're
Yeah.
gonna be in the one where they're all together, but not the first one they're all together. The
end of
7th
credit
one.
scenes. That's not like
well, and
necessarily
that's
the movies.
Avengers. You need to watch like Thor.
It
when
sounds
it's
like
only
to me.
Thor's story.
It sounds like to me, Annie, is that you've been burned.
Yeah, you seem hurt.
Here's
This
the
is
thing,
not
right?
because it's not about the movie for you anymore. It's about the message that the fans are sending you, which
I
is
kinda hate them.
like you have to study in order
kind
to
of
watch
hate
a movie.
them is what
I,
she just said.
I kind of hate the fans. If you're an intense fan, I hate
Okay,
you.
okay,
Kind
okay.
of, not really.
Duly
Just a little
noted.
bit.
I mean, Ryan,
But
we
I'm not
we
like
can
a-
build this out
look,
after
look,
the podcast.
No, this is the podcast, Annie. This is we're duking
Okay,
it out.
We're
would
right
you-
dying on this hill.
Yeah,
Would
Cara,
you
please save me.
watch-
Go ahead.
No, would you watch Captain America for the history aspect?
Gosh.
No,
yeah.
okay.
You are a history nerd, so
Listen,
there's that.
and I gotta
Nerd.
say, Marvel, crappy job. Like,
That's true.
You could
what?
do better.
You're not wrong.
That's
You're
it.
not wrong.
Maybe that's it. I also don't like the idea that it's like close to reality, but not. Like, I think the reason I like Indiana Jones is it's like, yeah, it's unbelievable to an extent, but like, also it feels a little bit more like, oh, some guy could be really into archaeology and like doing all this stuff and finding all these people. Where all of a sudden there's like all this. I think that's the thing. I liked Harry Potter.
Yeah, I'm not
But
sure
I liked
about that.
Harry Potter because it was fully magic. It wasn't like
Yeah.
It
trying
kinda
to be
sounds
real
like
world.
You've decided you don't like them.
Yes, exactly. You have made your decision,
But
and
listen,
there
I
is no
used
going
to.
back on it.
I used to like Marvel. I used to really like
Can I
Marvel,
tell you,
and
Annie,
all my friends
You
we dressed
so
up as them.
Decide to like it again.
There's too many now. It's too
Annie,
now. It's too
I-
much. It's
Dare I say you don't like Marvel because everybody else does?
no. That's not even it because I really liked Marvel when it first came out, and it was like Avengers,
You
and
just
then
lost track.
But she
Hulk,
also,
Yeah, but you
and
love-
then
but she also just said
Ant-Man,
she doesn't
and then
like long-running television
There's
shows
too
either.
many
You don't love the
things.
idea that like
I like spoilers. Just tell me what's going to happen. I don't
Okay.
need to have 75 other
okay.
movies
Crazy.
that just
Crazy.
drag out the
absolutely
storyline.
madness.
They don't have to die and come back to life and die and come back to life 75 times.
Just tell me if you like them or not.
Okay.
Let me see. Did you ever watch Breaking Bad?
No, never seen it.
Great,
Great show.
Google how it ended. Didn't even watch it.
Well, that's
Okay, this conversation is over.
yeah.
by
This,
the way,
this is over.
Googled how it ended. Didn't even watch it.
You're dead to me, respectfully, of course.
That's how. Keep going. No, I
No,
want to
no.
see. I want to see
What's
how
your thing?
many-
No, what's your
I
thing?
wanna
Tell
see
us.
how
Like,
many
what
of
do
the
you
shows
like?
What
that
are
I-
your favorite
What
shows?
makes you happy?
TV shows, movies. What do you like?
No, because they're.
You know what I was thinking
She doesn't
about?
watch TV. She just listens to podcasts.
Hey, Derek, call me.
Call me, buddy.
Okay. Okay. We'll sort this out.
I thought about this question. I think it's kind of interesting, relating to franchises.
Okay.
Yeah, it's bring
If
back
you
to that.
could, if you could star
Okay.
in like a cult franchise, like legendary franchise, like all these things we talked about, you know, Star Wars,
Yeah.
you can be Marvel, you
Yeah.
could be like the star of it.
Okay.
And you know, like when you, and this is like a thing, like when you start in something like that, like you're most notably known, like it's kind of tied to you for the rest of your life.
Like
What franchise are you choosing?
Yeah, I feel like those Marvel guys are done. I feel like the Star Wars guys are done. So, what do I think has like the longest shelf life from here on out, or like?
No, just what do you want to be
What do you
in?
want to do?
If you could replace
that
one of them,
could
you
be,
star
that can
in
be your
your-
that can be your thought process.
Here's
though.
my thought process is what franchise right now has the longest shelf life for the future.
Yeah.
If I was going to
Gosh.
jump in, right? Just I'm not going to jump into Star Wars
You're
because Star
looking
Wars
for
is done.
a job.
No, but
You
I'm
want a
saying
long-term
I want a job.
I'm
I
saying
want
no.
a
I'm
job.
saying like you could like whatever series it is. You started this franchise and you lived through the whole thing. And it's not about the character or anything. It's about like
It's about does Annie like me?
yeah. Like and it
Short
could,
list.
the thought process.
Hard
The
sell.
thought process could be, this is going to set me up for life. I'll never have to work again. Or it could be like, I love this series so much. I'd love to be like.
I'm going to
the star
say
of it.
those
It is
Grown Ups movies.
Oh God.
I
Get that
hate
out
you.
of here. Get
I
out.
hate
Adam
you.
Sandler. Okay, now hear me out.
I hate you so much.
Grown-ups.
Adam Sandler calls up all his buddies and says, "Hey, let's go to like the Bahamas and just hang out and make fart jokes, and then we'll make it a movie, and it'll make millions of dollars."
We once got, I don't think it was on the podcast. I think it was off of the podcast. And I think it was in a meeting.
Yeah.
And I said that the Grown Ups movies are literally the worst movies ever. And I thought you weren't going to be friends. You were like, well, now you're just wrong. Now, you know,
I
now
mean,
you're
that's
actually
just-
just insulting me.
So
No, no.
Annie, everyone wants to know.
Listen, Annie, and those movies aren't good.
But they made lots of money.
Don't misunderstand me. But those guys have it made. They
Okay,
get to hang
and-
out.
In your response, what movie would you insert yourself in?
Yeah.
First of all, National Treasure. They should make a
it.
third
I
one.
knew it. I knew it. I
They
knew
should
it.
make
She
a
was gonna
third
say
one.
that.
I thought there was a third.
Murder.
Is there
No.
only 1 and 2?
There's
There's-
only two,
there's
and
only
then the
two,
third
and
one
they're
got
gonna make a
shelved.
So
third.
many more.
It
The
got
third one got
shelved.
shelved because Nicolas Cage is a crazy person.
Oh.
Whatever happened to the Nicolas Cage movie?
It's coming
It
out.
came
He's
out.
doing press. Oh, yeah. It did
came
come out?
out?
I think so, didn't it?
He's definitely doing press. And his press
Oh, it's
is
coming out. If not,
is a lot.
I can't
So
wait.
That guy is a
they're
lot.
really leaning into the whole like Nicolas Cage is a meme thing.
I'm a quirky guy.
Yeah, he's
Like,
like, I'm a
Gosh.
crazy guy. They're like,
What was
did
it,
you buy a
Lionsgate?
castle? He's like, I guess I did.
Lionsgate has a
Nicolas
TikTok, and they've been interviewing him for this whole thing, like
Yeah.
a different viewings or whatever. And he's always wearing a different suit. I sent you one of them.
Oh, I saw
And
that.
he's like, "This is inspired by shortbread."
Yes.
And then he was inspired by something else. And then a new one just came out, but he was just wearing a black suit. He's like, "I had this suit at home, but I haven't been home in weeks." He's like, "So I couldn't grab it." He's like, "But it was a cranberry suit." And he's like, "It's supposed to like remind you of cold cranberry juice in the morning."
He's
And
incredible.
it was like, he's like, "But I forgot it, and I had a watch that even matched it." And I was like, "Dude, this guy is a millionaire."
Annie, let's same page really quick. I love those National Treasure
They're
movies.
Yeah, they're
so
good.
So good.
good.
And because they're kind of similar to Indiana Jones in a way
Yeah.
of like,
Yeah.
it
know
makes
what's
you feel like an archaeologist is cool, even though they're probably just
Yeah.
like, digging for
Well,
bones.
and you
So
know,
with
it's
the-
like
with the
it's like
dust
it's like
Always.
fantastical, but it's like showing that like I think maybe that it's like bringing all those like crazy storylines
Yeah.
back into a little bit more of reality of like no
Oh,
like
yeah.
stuff like this kind
Yeah,
of did
way
happen in a
realistic.
way.
When they crack open the cave on the
Yeah, on the Mount Rushmore.
You're out
Yeah.
here saying Marvel's too removed from reality,
Yes.
but here we are
Yes.
in National Treasure.
Superheroes?
They
They're like-
steal
But here's the
like
thing. Okay,
Constitution.
I was thinking about it. I was
Black
thinking about
Hills
it.
of South Dakota lies a Mayan temple that the founding fathers knew about, but then later on in the 1940s,
But
they
Thor
built.
is too far removed.
When did they build?
I understand. I see. You know what? I see the irony in it. Okay.
It is fairly
In Mount
ironic.
Rushmore,
Yeah.
it got canned during the Depression because they couldn't afford it. Thank you.
When did they build it? 1950
It was
or
like
something?
it started in the 20s and then
Losers,
the 40s
man.
started.
Losers.
30s
What
and
were they
40s
doing?
hit.
We were living in
Thank you.
shanty towns, and they built Mount Rushmore.
They built Mount Rushmore.
Go
They
ahead.
were supposed to be not just heads, but they were supposed to be full body
Are you serious?
statues.
So
Yeah, it was
dumb.
supposed to go all the way down, but
Okay, I'm glad they didn't. That would have been freaking creepy.
you can look up the like original like design.
I don't
And it's
actually
their-
support
ugly.
Mount Rushmore
Full
I don't
body.
either.
So
It's so ugly.
I'm just saying.
Just like
Well,
not
you know
even.
it's good because if they had done the whole way down, they would have run into the Mayan temple.
Yes.
I'll never go to it.
Hey, luckily
I don't
Nicolas
support it,
Cage
so-
was there to crack it open
And-
with
and-
his like love interest.
Yeah.
And then like
At
his,
that point, it was
and
his
Riley,
ex-wife.
right?
And his-
Ben. We got trouble here.
It-
Let me
his-
hack,
his-
hack,
No,
hack,
no,
hack.
do it in his
That's,
voice.
no, that's not Nicolas Cage. That's the
okay,
friend.
okay.
Riley, you gotta hack the system for me. We have to find where the founding fathers
Okay.
like took a dump in the woods or something.
I was thinking
there's
about
treasure.
it. We're going back to franchises,
gonna
right?
steal
it. Go ahead.
I was thinking about what might like throw me off now of
Yep.
Star Wars and Marvel.
Okay.
Marvel, I truly did used to like because all my friends we started growing up on it. But I first got introduced to my dad didn't.
Mm-hmm.
My dad saw Star Wars in theaters when they came out and was like, whatever, who cares? And so I never got
That's,
introduced
like,
to it. So
just
when
objectively wrong,
Well,
like
when-
because that was just like when it was a good movie. Sorry, not to
Yeah.
bag on you. Your dad's wrong because like in the 70s it was cool.
but
Like,
I think like my dad was like, oh yeah, that's cool, but like.
Yeah.
Whatever,
I think
fast
inherited
forward,
that.
I think you inherited
20,
that.
28 years. Like he was like, yeah, like, well, now I have daughters. I'm not thinking about that
Mm.
movie I watched one time with my friend in the theaters. And like, so when
Yeah.
I first got introduced to it, it was from kids I was babysitting. So for me, I was
Okay.
like, I'm not going to
Okay.
sit through this
so
movie
you think we're
that
babies? Is that what you're saying?
you're children.
Unrelated. Is poor taste genetic, you think?
Oh,
Or
1,000%. My taste is trash.
Okay, okay.
You know, I
all
don't-
right.
I
At least
don't-
she's-
now, hey, now we're getting to it.
John, I know for a fact you choose Iron Man.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, Iron Man. I love the Iron
Well,
Man movies.
Yeah, and I think also Robert
Just
Downey
the Avengers
Jr.
in general. Like you
Yes.
would be Robert Downey Jr. in Iron Man and the Avengers.
Yeah, I think he's like his character specifically.
He's so cool.
It has it'll have a thread through the MCU. Like I think for a lot longer than we
Yeah.
think.
You
You know
know
what I'm
what?
saying? Which is cool.
I
what I
like the
kind of-
Iron Man movies.
And he made a lot of money on that last Endgame one.
That's it. I hate Marvel. I like Iron Man. There we go. I'm laying it
and
there.
I'm gonna not trash you.
Captain America.
I'm gonna not trash you
So
anymore and
good.
just tell you how much I like it. Because the
I
way
appreciate that.
I'm not gonna
We're done.
the way it weaves
Totally destroying
like
you.
I love slowly learning more about a story and then building off of it. Like I think that's really cool. What
And that's where we did. That sounds exhausting.
are you kidding me?
I'm
The
literally.
payoff-
Annie, how are you in history and you can't handle a long story? History is just one giant
History
long
already
story.
happened. You Google it. You already know
No,
what
history's
happened.
happening right now. It's
History
always
is
happening
right now.
History is literally
You can Google
spoilers.
it. You can Google it. You can find out the answer right now.
What the heck?
Who hurt you? What is wrong with you?
like history. It's still going. They'll never finish that story.
Who lives, who dies,
I
who
think
tells
it's
your story.
so cool because if you've seen Iron Man and then 10 movies later when it's like this reference to Iron Man, it's like, oh, like it lets you in on the cool secret of like, oh, I saw that movie. Like, yeah, I know what they're talking
I
about.
think you're just upset. You got
see
too
all
far
of them.
behind.
You're out of the loop.
You
That's
got
what
too
it
far
is.
behind.
No,
And now you
I-
just hate it because you know it's cool.
That's totally
That's
what
not
it
it,
is.
but
That's totally
I'll
what it
let you
is.
think that.
That's totally what it is.
It just sounds
Annie-
exhausting.
I'm
But okay,
sad for you.
back to the
mostly.
question at hand.
Okay.
Beyond the bashing of my
You said National
ADHD.
Treasure.
Yeah, Cara,
That's the
what
question at
movie
hand.
would you
Oh, yeah, I
what
guess.
choose?
Kara's got an
Oh,
answer,
okay,
right?
yeah.
I want you to guess.
Taylor Swift, the documentary.
No.
I don't know. I
No,
don't know.
okay, I'm like
I'm gonna
Barbie
say-
movies. The Barbie movies when they were animated and they were princesses.
I only saw
Trolls.
this
No,
one.
you'd be a
I only
voice
saw
actor
the
Princess
on
first one.
Trolls.
Diaries.
I only
Princess
saw the-
Diaries
Oh,
3.
God.
That's a pretty good one, but no.
The Trolls movies.
No.
It's going to be something.
Voice
Lizzie
actor.
McGuire.
I
Nemo.
thought about saying Lizzie McGuire.
They only
like
came
it.
one.
I was like,
But
oh.
they only came
Would
out
it
with
be?
one.
Oh, there's two Lizzie McGuires.
Come on.
I got you.
Is
Teen
there?
Beach movie.
That,
I
shoot me,
also
no.
thought about saying
It's that
one.
world. It's
I
like a
also
Disney
thought about saying
Channel
that one.
situation.
That would be my musical
Yeah,
one.
why do we
That's my
choose
musical
High School Musical.
children's movie
Oh, it
first?
would be musical choice.
It'd be Teen Beach Movie would be my musical choice.
I knew it.
No, but my
Oh.
main one is my comfort movie.
Your comfort
Come on,
movie?
dude. You
Oh,
literally
this is
married
really
her. You
upset.
should
This
know
is gonna
it.
be really
Know
bad.
it.
Mr. Bean. You'd be in the Mr. Bean series.
Cara, that would be
Actually, I'm
amazing.
changing my
Change
answer.
it.
I'm changing my answer. I'll be the Mr. Bean
Mr.
series.
Bean.
No.
I'd be a one-off character like Willem Dafoe in Mr. Bean's Holiday.
Nothing.
Come on.
Mr. Bean's
Come on.
Holiday.
You guys
Okay,
know what
Kara,
I'm talking
tell us. We're all waiting.
Come on.
Just tell
it has
us.
two
He's
different
not-
types
Stop.
of
Don't make us
beings.
guess.
Hannah
Okay, the
Montana.
B movie.
Fight.
And they fight.
Descendants.
Montana Civil War.
Aquamarine.
No.
They, one of them lives
I got
forever.
it. Yep.
Go ahead.
Twilight.
There,
She'd be in
it's-
Twilight.
You would be in
Twilight.
Twilight?
What?
Would you
That
be a-
I'm
okay.
sorry. First, pause. Twilight's your comfort movie?
Yes, I love Twilight.
This is also a casting call. We're looking to fill a producer role on this show.
We're gonna replace all four
love
of us. We're canceling all four of us.
That's how it works.
Would you be a werewolf or would you be a vampire? I don't know how the movies work. Would you be a werewolf or a vampire
Yeah.
or a human? Would you be Bella Swan?
Would you be Anna
Swain.
Kendrick? Just be
Swish.
Anna Kendrick in it.
No, because she never finds out.
She never.
She never finds out
She's
what.
she dumb. She
died?
never
I
finds
know.
out.
She never finds out.
that there's vampires
Yeah, or anything.
or that there's
Okay, but
werewolves.
what would you be?
None of
Pick
her
a
friends.
side, werewolf
Oh,
or
vampire.
vampire. Oh, you'd be a vampire. Smart.
Werewolf.
smart.
Definitely.
I wouldn't wanna live
werewolves,
forever.
They literally change. I don't want to
Werewolves-
change every moon.
Do werewolves live forever?
No, they die.
They do?
John, werewolf or
yes.
vampire?
I would be vampire. You know that
Of
about
course
me.
you
Come on.
would. You kind of
Come on,
give me vampire
vampy.
vibes
And you can
sometimes.
just
I would
live on
love to
animal
live
blood.
forever.
Come
Vampy.
on.
What's wrong with werewolf?
But
They got
vampires
cool
never
stuff.
sleep.
Because I can decide when to kill myself.
Do they die? Can
That's
werewolves
aggressive.
die?
That is
That's
aggressive.
true.
You can actually already do that.
Werewolves die like humans.
Wait, do vampires?
Oh,
Is there a way to
no,
die
I-
as a vampire?
Yeah.
How?
You get
Sunlight.
stabbed
You
by
get
a
stabbied.
wooden
Or sunlight.
garlic.
No,
or
garlic.
Is that how
mirror.
is that how
Or
it
something
is
like
in
Every single vampire thing that I've seen, it's always the stake in the heart.
The wooden stake in the heart.
Always.
That goes back
You
to
guys ever watch?
Nosferatu.
You ever watch Supernatural?
No.
Never saw it.
Love that series.
Are those guys vampires?
No, they hunt.
They hunt supernatural things.
They hunt supernatural things.
Van
Great
Helsing,
series. Great series. You should check it out.
Van Helsing.
right?
So what we learned is Annie doesn't like any of the major movie
Hugh Jackman.
series.
Okay, here's my thing.
What do you like?
Yeah, tell us.
I truly
National
do.
Treasure.
I want to know. Like, you like National Treasure,
But movies I enjoy.
but they made a sequel to it. So does that make you not like it because it's like more to watch,
It's too long.
too much of the same stuff?
Two I can handle.
Yeah, 2 you can do.
But
Any more
there's-
than 3 is
okay,
absolutely
3 is
more
too
For
than
many.
me, like I really like Wes Anderson films, like Hotel Budapest and stuff like that.
Sometimes
where like
they're too long though.
Right?
right, but it's like,
What's the one
like
we
one.
like?
It's
We
a
watched-
you like a self-contained story.
and I love to appreciate the art, but like when the art, maybe that's it. It's hard for me to really believe that you can have like a fully beautiful art piece that is stretched so thin, like across this whole thing. That
but
like I
it's
feel like
not.
at some point, but maybe that's it. Maybe
It's
I haven't
individual
really.
stories
Do
that
you like-
entertain, like they tangle
you
in
like
between.
to watch your movie and
I feel like it
have
kind
it
of-
all. Do you like to have it wrap up at the end? Like if it ends on a cliffhanger, are you like,
I get anxiety. Yeah, like that's why I hate those
Got
shows.
it.
Do you
That's why
like
like
movies-
This Is Us. I love This Is Us. I think it is a beautiful show. after the first season, I literally stopped watching and I just Googled what happened to every new
Same.
episode.
That's so
It's
still
messed
going.
up. What the
It's
heck?
still
Yeah.
going.
Yeah,
I,
it's
could,
still to
I
this
couldn't
day.
watch. I thought season 1 was like this perfect, and then
I
they
don't know
kinda
if I've
dropped it.
ever Googled something to know the
I haven't
ending of
either.
it.
haven't
I
done
will
that,
sit
no.
in a
I
movie
haven't.
2 minutes into the movie, Google the ending so I can prepare myself
You're
mentally.
so messed up. What is wrong
Wait,
with
do
you?
you like? So do you like?
I'm broken.
Movies? Do you like
Oh my
movies that are
God.
documentary style? So it's about the person's life.
Do you like
Because
documentaries?
you know, right?
documentaries.
Okay.
That's why.
Okay,
March of the
we
Penguins?
watched. Do you know what I watched for the first time
What?
last night? We watched this, the Social Network, and
So
I
good.
really liked
Docudrama.
it.
So good.
Yeah, it's a good
I
movie.
think those are some of my favorite
ever seen that?
movies too.
Yeah,
No.
they're
Social
so
Network?
good.
I gotta watch that one.
The Zuck.
Oh,
the
it
story
was
of the
so
Zuck.
good.
I haven't seen it. I've heard
Dude,
about
that
it.
dude is such a jackass.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like,
come
such-
on.
And
Come
all of his friends were
on.
jackasses. Everyone involved in
Not
the Facebook.
everyone, not Andrew Garfield.
Wasn't
Everybody involved. And
Okay.
he was a jerk too.
No,
Also,
Andrew
it-
Garfield.
just because it's Andrew Garfield doesn't mean
No,
his
and I
character.
Googled a picture of the guy. He sucks too. Like,
You did Google
like-
something about that.
not how the movie
How
ended.
does the movie end?
I'm not a sadist. God. Start the movie 2 minutes
Okay.
in. How does this end?
Annie, I think
Sometimes I look it up
Titanic.
before I even go.
Oh, it sinks.
Annie, do you
Hey,
think
guys,
that if
it
we
sinks.
started
Gosh,
the MCU, like, and
She
just
wouldn't do it. She
I
can't even
wouldn't. I
hear you say
literally
it.
wouldn't. I like couldn't.
sad,
like I
bro.
cannot. If
Okay.
you're like, hey, we're watching
I'll make you a deal.
Iron Man 1, I'd be like, dope. I've seen that movie. I like that movie. I know it's an enjoyable movie. If you're like, we're watching Iron Man 7,
There's only 3,
come
by the
through,
way.
I'd be like,
numbers scare you? I'll make you a deal. Okay, we're gonna watch just Star Wars.
Okay.
One movie, really?
She quits the
Really?
podcast.
An
Hey,
hour and
it
45
has-
minutes you can't do,
It has
Annie?
an ending. It has an ending.
It's a
There's
I will.
no
I will
self-contained
promise
story.
to watch one Star Wars.
That's all I want.
All right.
That's all I want.
But
a
I know
single
what
Star Wars
happens.
movie.
Spoilers for Star Wars. I can tell you the whole plot.
Yeah,
Well,
do you know-
the
Hey,
guy
Annie,
finds
Googled it.
out.
Annie, do
the
you
guy-
know why you know it? Because it's a pop cultural
That's true.
freaking
Exactly. Why do I need to see
pillar.
it? I already know it.
Also, the name of the person.
This conversation's
means-
done. Let's
happens.
transition to something, John. Help. Just help.
Please help me.
I could.
Please
I
help
once
me.
on a date. This is a funny story. I once on a date. We had this exact conversation, and I said, "No, I know what happens. It's okay." And he said, "Oh, what happens?" And I told him.
He's never seen
I
it.
told him the
Go ahead.
plot, and he goes, "Yeah, that's not good." And I was like, no, that's what happens. I was like, no, I get it. Like, he finds out that he's like kind of a prince or whatever, and then his dad like used to be powerful, but now is like a bad guy, and then he kind of has a thing for his sister, but then like his
Oh my
best friend and his
gosh.
sister end up happening.
The
and
only
then, like,
reason you know
they don't
those
like each
things
other,
is
and then
because
he's
Star
like,
Wars
oh,
is
my father.
iconic in
And
pop
he's like,
culture.
"Ah."
So many movies wouldn't exist without Star Wars.
And listen,
And no.
I give it credit
Harrison
for what
Ford's
has
career
done.
wouldn't be without
Harrison
Star
Ford,
Wars.
you never would have seen Air Force One. Never would have come out. Okay, The Fugitive.
Ryan,
never would have. You ever
Ryan,
seen that movie?
Ryan,
No.
hey Ryan, hey,
I'm gonna freak
hey,
out,
buddy.
You know what? You did this to me because you preloaded the conversation with, yeah, I just hate like people get passionate about it, but I don't know about that stupid Prince movie. Nobody knows what you're talking about, Annie. It's Star Wars.
Oh my
Transition.
gosh.
Hey, buddy.
Transition.
I'm
Don't do
willing,
this.
I will
Don't
watch.
do
Hey,
this.
just to save our friendship. I really hate that. I'm gonna say I'll watch 2 Star Wars for you.
Whoa.
That's actually
wow.
good because the second one is better.
There you
Hot
go.
take. The
I
second
don't-
one's better.
I need a break in
remember this
between.
Okay, look.
And you need to let me Google what happens.
Here's what happened. I'm just gonna.
need
This
to
is
let me Google
my
what
last
happens?
thought. You can Google what happens. That's fine.
I got
That's fine. You
15
can
minutes
Google
into
what
the one
happens.
where he's walking in the sand.
That's the first one.
best one.
Yeah, I got
Right?
15
Actually,
minutes
the
into
second best
that, and
one.
then the kids I were nannying went to sleep, and I turned that crap off.
Let me tell you what happened, Danny. And this is the saddest part of the whole thing: is that Hollywood just wants to make money. Okay?
And that's
And
true.
George Lucas
Okay.
had a vision. Listen, hear me out. From 1973 until the mid 80s, they made 3 Star Wars movies.
Yes.
They're the
all.
best ones. They're the iconic,
trilogy.
the original trilogy. And then after that, freaking, they were like, hey, why don't you make some more movies? And he was like, yeah, I'm going to make like 100 movies. And then like
More
they
fun.
came out in the 90s and the early 2000s, which I grew up loving. So I'm not going to like trash them.
Trash
But
them,
like,
but,
they
like,
just kept
yeah.
making them. And now they're like making shows and stuff.
I think that's
just
it.
watch.
Like, that's the heart
Let's
of me
watch 2.
with franchises.
All right. And then
It's-
you can decide if you want to watch the third one.
like beyond Star Wars, because I totally understand that
Yes.
the art and like how pivotal this franchise
Yeah.
was for what created truly like Hollywood and the movie scene. I get that. I think when
And
it's
animatronics.
at some point,
Dude,
it becomes
and
like
models and freaking
when they get to the like Fast and the Furious 9,
Different.
at some point it feels like a sellout. Like you're
Yes.
just trying to
Okay.
make money.
That's a far departure.
But I'm saying,
from
like, I think
Star
that's,
Wars.
I think that's where, like, my, like, the, like, one part of my anger with them lies is,
Got
like, it. At some point, I stopped seeing it as, like, art because I'm just seeing it as Hollywood trying to make money.
I'm with you on that.
I
I'm
think
absolutely with you on
I think
that.
Star Wars, in my eyes, has become so grossly, like, overdone and sold out, and like I
Correct.
hate that Disney bought it. I think
True.
that like Disney money has done good for the movies and whatever, but like seeing Tomorrowland turn into Star Wars whatever at Disneyland like kind of makes my heart sad. I'm like, this is gross to me.
All right, well, you had me, but you kind of lost me at the
But
end.
I think
me and you
I
lost
probably
me.
would
Not sure.
appreciate it like
Not
I
sure.
appreciate the Harry Potter land at
Let's move
with
on.
Universal.
I heard Disney's making a National Treasure wing of
they
the
are?
theme park. Yeah, big National Treasure wing.
You're lying to me
8.
to try to get me
No,
excited.
major like extension off the park. They're actually demolishing Star Wars
Okay.
Land. Hear me out. They're
They
demolishing
should.
Star Wars
They
Land.
should. And you
They're
know what they
building
should
National
put?
Treasure Land.
And they should freaking
psycho.
put Mount Rushmore.
They are,
oh, really? Mount Rushmore too?
And you know what they should do?
Wow.
A tunnel from
That's
the
so
Lincoln,
classic,
the
Annie.
president's whatever
Typical Annie.
thing, a secret tunnel that you crawl through
Yeah.
underneath.
Yeah,
that
through
goes
Mount
through
Vernon.
a
Yeah,
mile,
and where you
a
kidnap the
Mayan
president.
temple, and then you go up, and it's the Mount Rushmore. So you could just suck it, okay, Ryan?
Disneyland
Speaking
is
of presidents.
Disneyland
Oh,
is
you have a
actually getting rid of the Tarzan attraction.
They
at
are.
Disneyland. They are.
The
This is what
Tarzan
I'm saying.
Treehouse.
Like, why don't? Hey Disney, why don't you just freaking
Hey, Annie,
like
I
kill
don't
us?
tell you things have to change.
No, they don't.
Things have
they
to
don't
change.
have to
They
change.
have to.
I can Google the ending
You
at any
can't.
moment. They can't
Okay,
change.
what
Annie,
about Splash
imagine
Mountain?
walking
Splash
into
Mountain's
the
being
first
changed.
original
that
iteration
understands
of
that's
Disneyland.
racist.
You would be like, "This is so stupid."
So trash.
No, it's original, and we could keep that way.
Okay.
Yeah,
this-
I can't wait to go.
We're scratching the surface
You
of
know what's
something here.
crazy is like Pirates of the Caribbean, the ride was based on nothing, right?
It was first,
Yeah.
and then they started
think
adding
about
Jack
it.
Sparrow to it. I'm like, get it, like get out of here.
No, but like, why not? Like, make a movie, make it mean something. Have you ever been to Knott's Berry Farm?
Yeah,
Where everything means nothing.
Everything means nothing there. You're there, and it's like now they've added like Snoopy
Country.
characters. It's like Cowboy Land. You really want to go to Cowboy Land? No,
I like
nobody
Cowboy
wants to go
Land.
to Western World.
maybe they do.
We want to see something. We want to experience something that we've seen because it's in a movie, right? Nobody
Well,
wants to
they
go to
made-
Western
you know,
World.
and
They made a movie
I can
about,
get I can get on
Jungle
board with
Cruise.
that.
You know,
I can get on board with that because
Yeah, I hate
I
that.
did buy a pass to Universal Studios purely for Harry Potter Land. So whatever.
awesome,
That's
right?
okay.
It's
we
awesome.
we went to the opening day.
We were
of
there on
Harry
opening
Potter
day. It's
World,
awesome.
and there
So
was no one
cool.
there. It was like sprinkling.
Yeah, where were
and
you?
there was no one there, and it was awesome.
I love it. It's great.
They are thinking about putting in. Everyone thinks they're going to put in an Encanto thing where the Tarzan treehouse was.
thought
and I
it was-
understand
I thought it was
that.
something
else.
I
A little
can
house.
understand that.
Oh,
Like
they're taking out the whole tree, huh?
Madrigal?
I
Yeah.
fully missed that you said
No,
that.
no, no. They're not taking out the whole tree. They're just renovating it into something else.
They're taking out the Tarzan elements of it.
Well,
I mean,
Wouldn't you know it? It wasn't originally a Tarzan's Treehouse. It was the Swiss Family Robinson,
Robinson Treehouse.
You ever see that movie in
Yes.
the 60s?
no.
Of course you did.
Because my
course you-
parents
you
are
hated
old.
it.
That movie sucks.
Take it
Speaking
back.
of presidents, I'm going to do my...
Go ahead.
Before I transition.
Speaking of presidents,
I just want to shout out, if you're listening to this podcast in your car, I feel like that's maybe a slice of our fan base that we don't address enough. So look,
Okay, that's
hey,
nice.
hit us up on Instagram. We're going to send you a little something. We're going to pick somebody and we're going to send you something. Shout
Yeah.
out to the car listeners.
car listeners.
Maybe you're on your
thanks.
commute. Maybe
Yeah.
you're
and he, her
going-
face like what?
I just thought it was a nice little. Well,
Yeah.
I was listening to the podcast in my car this week, and I was like, you know what? We're a video podcast, you know. But
You know, if anything, I'll be real. It's probably
Go ahead.
I've never, unless I'm doing clips, I don't typically watch us.
Okay.
I'll listen to the podcast, but I don't watch us. And I'll notice when I look down on the iPad and it's on me, if I'm like doing something and I go, wow, this is probably so jarring to watch. I'm like, what is that girl doing? Doesn't she know she's being
What is
recorded?
going on?
No, she doesn't. She doesn't think about it
four
at
cameras
all.
on.
Just no clue.
Nah.
No clue. Doesn't even think about it.
Speaking of presidents,
Yeah,
ahead.
I'm gonna
presidents.
finally do my transition.
Yeah, do your thing.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
should.
yeah.
The guy that
too long.
shot Ronald Reagan
Yes, I heard about. You
is
told me about
going
this.
on tour.
Classic.
Now
I've seen that video.
John Hinckley Jr. is planning what he's calling the Redemption Tour. he is a musician. He's going to be playing. He's apparently sold out his first show, and the
That's 'cause I
Ronald
bought
Reagan
every
Foundation
ticket.
is not happy about it.
Okay, why isn't he in prison?
He was. He
He got
served his
out.
time.
So
He
Ronald
got
Reagan
out.
didn't die. He
no,
shot
he just got
Ronald Reagan,
shot.
but he didn't die.
He was fine.
I mean,
So it wasn't
what's
murder.
he
Maybe not
been?
fine.
He's been in for like 50 years or something, right? 60 years.
It's probably something long.
What he got shot in the 80s?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Was it?
What year did Ronald Reagan get shot?
Well, all I can say is
1981.
forget
So,
Coachella. Spend your money.
40 years, that's it?
41 years. He's been in
Spend
jail.
your money on this concert because you know what?
John Hinckley
Talking
Jr.
about history being made, this is history right there.
What a weird thing to happen in the world, right? Like,
Well, I'm not surprised. Everyone that is famous for something, whether it's good or bad, usually tries to take advantage of the fame at some
Yeah.
point or another. That
who do you think's the worst offender of that? I mean, John Hinckley is definitely a runner-up, but
Oh, yikes! I don't know.
Is he advertising like, I shot Ronald Reagan, come watch my music?
I mean, he's just like, hey, I'm John Hinckley. I'm on the Redemption Tour, and people are like, John Hinckley.
John Hinckley.
Oh,
You know what? They Google
I'm sure
him
he doesn't have
and they
to.
get the answer
I'm
right
sure
away.
he doesn't even have to do that. I'm sure there are people that just like.
But, like, if you
news
told
outlets
me-
eat that up. Are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
the guy that shot Ronald Reagan is going on tour. They're gonna make a story out of that.
Well, how about that girl? I'm thinking about the girl that was on Dr. Phil.
Catch Me Outside.
How about that?
Yeah.
Girl?
Oh, God.
Bad,
Catch Me
bad
Outside.
She, like,
How about that?
Beatty
get a-
or Beatty.
She went on a tour.
She got like a
she's a millionaire.
series,
She got like
right?
a record
Like-
deal, I thought,
Yeah.
too.
I'm sorry, back up. Is she married? Is that
No,
what you
she's
said?
like a
millionaire. Is what I
teenager.
said.
Oh,
She's a
millionaire.
millionaire. Yeah, she's
was
making.
like,
She
are we
made
married?
millions.
Maybe she's married now. That was a
knows?
couple years ago, but
and it was like
And
she literally got famous for
what's
being a disrespectful
interesting
teen.
is-
Yeah.
a little rat. Yeah.
Dr. Phil's perspective on it all, like now that it's what happened, and now that she's like her own person, is Dr. Phil's like, this is the downfall of this is the downside of media. He's like, we were trying to make
Of
an
him
interesting-
having his show.
Yeah, we were trying to make an interesting show, and he's like, and in turn we made somebody who, like, in his opinion, should not be famous.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
like,
Wow.
and he's like, we thought it would be, like I said, we thought it'd be interesting content. He's like, but now.
He's not
he never
wrong.
says he regrets it, but of course 'cause
He literally
probably made
sent her
millions
to
off
like
it.
almost like a rehab camp.
Yeah, I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
She's
I mean,
a
she
mess.
came out just as she was, and then she, I guess, went on tour
Well,
and got a record
yeah.
deal. And
What's interesting too is the show, the Dr. Phil show, makes the mom seem so innocent.
Yeah.
But in the in the real lens of like, okay, now we're seeing her and her mom interact. Her mom is a lot worse than the show made her real. It made her seem.
That's kind of interesting you bring up because, a young Dr. Phil was probably like, I just want to shed light on like these crazy situations that I deal with, like as a, what is he? Like a,
He's a psychologist.
Psychologist.
Yeah.
Like, and then your producers go, that was great. Next week we need somebody even crazier. Like,
Crazy, yeah.
and you're like, no, like it's not about them being crazy. It's about like
People need help.
helping people.
yeah, helping
Yeah.
people. And they're like, yeah, but that's not selling. You know what's selling? Like, this
Crazy.
dude killed his dog because whatever. And you're like, okay,
well, that guy's
well,
just
I'm
a
Dr.
psychopath.
Phil. Like, I guess I gotta, keep my brand.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's probably a departure that happens for him, where he's like, he obviously is like, he's a real doctor, what I'm saying, and he was
Yeah.
probably treating patients for a long time before he got the TV deal.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he has to leave things behind when you make that deal. Like, he has to understand, like,
You're gonna be on TV.
I can't. I
On a
can't.
major
I
network
can't do
in the middle of the
like
day.
help. I'm not really in the business of helping people anymore. You know what I'm saying? He's like,
Right.
I want to, but like the reality is, he's not helping anybody. I mean, maybe, but not likely.
Who else do you think is abusing their fame or got fame illicitly? Like,
Oh.
There's tons of people.
just
on
kind of an
TikTok,
interesting
jeez.
thing now.
Got fame.
Like,
Well, I mean,
like her. Like, she accidentally got fame for something dumb. Like,
you could argue that on a lot of.
Kim Kardashian.
So yeah, like you can argue Kim Kardashian and like they got famous,
But that was
beyond
a strategy.
yeah,
That was her
but like
mother.
beyond like that, like she got famous off of like Paris Hilton.
Yeah.
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 She like there's so many people like that's what like the underbelly of Hollywood is people just using other people to step on to like get famous.
And then it's the famous people's kids.
that's
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah, like that's the thing that like
They're always just going to be famous because they're a famous person's kid.
I think the Kardashians are a pretty good example of all that.
Yeah.
Of like illicit fame.
Yeah, I think. Well,
Illicitly acquired
we've
fame.
kind of talked about them in the past too. Like,
Yeah.
The reason that they are famous is because like
Their dad.
they've kind of made themselves famous. I mean, their
Yeah.
dad ultimately gave them like a stepping stone in that direction, you know. But like Kim and all, they're all famous because they just have kept
Yeah.
themselves in the news.
If you want to
know?
listen to an amazing podcast, there's this podcast called Even the Rich, and they tell like a 4 series, you know, like a 4-part like storyline of these rich families who have these like crazy storyline, like crazy things that happen. So like they basically like do that. I think they might even be like a 6-part series for the Kardashians, but like start to now, how the Kardashians gain fame, like in every
Dang.
start of the way, and like they even go into like when Bruce Jenner transitioned into Caitlyn Jenner and everything, like. And how like there was so much strategy behind it. They go into like Kim getting robbed and it, like, and they don't do it from like any sort of like skewed perspective. Just kind of like here
This
are the
is what
facts of what happened.
Yeah.
And they did. I got hooked on them when they did the Gucci family and like the story of the Gucci's, and then I saw House of Gucci, and so then I was like all about. I was like, I need to know the story about
I
that.
wanted to see the
Gucci's.
House of Gucci.
It's super interesting, but it was like they have like I just listened to one about the Gettys. Like there was like you know like the Getty Museum.
Yeah.
And like the kidnapping that the grandson of the guy of like the most rich man in the world, the like JP Getty,
Yeah.
his like grandson's kidnapping. They have like these storylines, and their whole mission is kind of to be like
It was planned.
the rich are just people too, and like they have just as messed up families, and like can be just as crappy people as normal people. And like let me tell you a story of like an example of this insanely rich family that you've had on a pedestal, and like their kind of crappy lives.
Dude,
And it's so interesting.
major Succession vibes
Oh,
from that.
Oh gosh.
Great show.
I gotta watch
Can
that
I connect to this TV? Will we see it?
show. Yeah, she can switch it
Can we,
over.
can we switch over to the TV?
what are
real
we
quick?
doing
I
right
guess.
We're
now?
gonna watch a good old video.
Oh, I gotta
Hold
unmute
on.
the TV.
About
About
can I Google the ending of
Yeah,
it before?
how this 2.5-minute video ends.
Yeah, I'd like to know.
Yeah.
I actually need to know.
It's crazy that you listen to a podcast that's 4 parts. Like,
Yeah.
that's
It's
amazing.
I really like
how'd you
that's
get
the
through
thing.
that?
Well, you know what? It's I can do other things.
No.
And I think 90% of the time it's
This is John Hinckley.
Put your mic over there.
Wait, I don't have it. Oh wait, never mind.
My what?
Put your mic over there. Just by the bar. There you go.
And the other streaming sites.
Here.
And that makes 26 songs of mine that I have on the streaming sites. So check them out when you have a chance.
We're gonna start it over. Hold on.
This is one of those 20.
You know what? This is just part of being on the podcast.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
sometimes you just take your
and
mic.
all those car listeners are like,
They're
wow.
loving
Yeah,
this. For the car listeners, by the way,
This is John.
love you guys. This is John Hinckley,
Hinckley.
and he's about to sing "You and I Are Free."
Wait, did you go
An
to
original song.
Apple TV?
I'm on
Entertainment Room?
Yes, I think so. Should I be just screen mirroring instead of?
Yeah, screen mirror.
I YouTube
Do screen mirroring.
airplayed. Okay.
Here, yeah, let's do this.
Wow.
Sorry, guys. Hold on.
Technical difficulties on our
It,
end.
Always,
truly
always,
wouldn't
always.
be this our podcast.
Well, I had to
if-
just throw it at you guys
Yeah.
real quick because I just feel like this is
There it goes. And then
fairly
you're gonna go ahead.
iconic. Here we go. And
There you go.
perfect.
There we
Now
go.
we're killing it. Now
Oh,
we're killing it.
no.
Here we go.
Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing great. I just posted my latest single. The song is called "The Places I Have Been," and it's available on Spotify and iTunes and the other streaming
This is
sites.
the guy we talked about
And
earlier.
that makes 26
John
songs
Hinckley
of mine that I have on
would
the
be
streaming
assassin
sites. So
of
check
Ronald
them out
Reagan.
When you have a chance. This is one of those 26 songs I'm going to play for you right now.
I can't wait. You take
You're
me.
in my dreams most every night. You're still looking fine.
You think he learned this in prison?
He probably wrote all these songs in prison.
He's not. He's,
Kind of cute.
oh, you're interested in that, but you don't like Marvel? Classic.
I get it. I get it.
I get it. I get it.
I will wait until the night to wash my blues away.
Wow.
It's so quiet in my room.
So that's what you have. You
So
have to
check him
see.
out.
Check him
Check
out.
him
He's
out.
on tour apparently.
Okay, maybe don't spend your money on it. Now that I've listened to it, maybe just watch it on YouTube. Google it. You don't need it.
He's got a lot of content on YouTube, so check that out.
Wow.
I will say, Annie, the more I think about it, I'm kind of with you. Like, movies are too long, I feel, these days.
It's just
You know how long
hard.
that Batman movie is? I haven't seen it yet. The new Batman movie is 3.5
we should see
hours
it.
long.
Oh my
You want to go see it?
I'd like to.
If we,
I like long movies. So.
Me too.
But boy,
Annie won't survive.
3.5.
Annie won't survive.
I'm telling you, I would only watch that just for Robert Pattinson.
Okay, really?
That's too many hours.
Only
That's,
for Robert
that's,
Pattinson.
Twilight.
that's
She loves
too
Twilight,
many
man.
hours.
That's a vampire movie.
That's right.
That's too
This?
many hours. That could be. You know what? But then but you know what? Okay, that's on me.
Go ahead.
If it takes them 3.5 hours to get the storyline across and
Like, who
makes
are
it
you
so
to
they
put 'em
don't
in a box?
well, and then makes it so they don't do 2 movies, like I can't have.
So
you
you'd
can't.
rather
You know
you'd
what,
rather
Annie?
watch a
You need to
long
figure it
movie
out.
than watch 2 movies.
I would just choose not to watch that movie. I would choose a shorter movie and then
Okay.
never see the long movie.
You know, when they did the re-release of the
Really.
Titanic,
I know, I get it. I'm
they
upset.
released it on 2 VHS tapes, and you had to physically take out one
Yeah.
and put in the other one.
You know what? I made the mistake of seeing the Titanic in 3D on
Whoa,
on a
what
date.
an
On a
experience.
date, and let me tell you, you can
Wow.
only make out for so long before
really?
you get a headache
All right,
from those
Annie, come
freaking
on, bring it
glasses.
right here.
I know
Those
for a fact
glasses.
that that's not true.
And then at some point you
Okay.
go, oh, okay, the thing's sinking. It's gonna end soon. Nope.
No,
That's just the beginning.
I
I can't
never
wait to see
seen
it in
Titanic.
VR when they do the VR release of Titanic.
Hell
You could be on the
no.
Titanic.
I'm the captain. Whoa.
I'm the guy.
You're pushing
I'm
kids
king of
out
the
of the way to
world.
get on the lifeboats.
Yeah.
It's actually a game.
play
It's like an
along, yeah.
escape room. It's like, can you survive the Titanic?
So fun, and you can't.
And you know what? I would watch
And
that.
and it depends, because if you buy the bigger package, like the upper class of the Titanic,
Yeah.
you do survive. But if not, you die.
You die.
I had never
You
seen
die.
that movie, and I grew up, everyone was talking about it. I never saw it.
Everybody.
And
But
so
did you
one
feel
time,
like you missed out because you didn't see
no,
it?
so one time I watched it by myself.
Okay.
I was like, I just got to see this movie,
Start to finish.
Even like by hour 2, you're like, this is the most ridiculous. Like, this is not a movie anymore. You feel like you're just watching the longest.
I still have not seen the whole thing.
videotaped anything.
You guys
Isn't
are crazy.
the whole thing like
You love
the
it?
movie?
I love that movie.
I
Made
thought
out the whole
Titanic
time.
made out the
Wait.
whole time. Haven't seen it.
And he goes, I was Titanic on a date. You could only make out for so long. And Ryan goes, I disagree.
3.5 hours of fun.
it was at a movie theater. I should have prefaced this with where the little thing in the middle doesn't go up.
So you're kind of limited.
So you're
Nice.
limited. There's limited
What a
movement
weirdo.
available. We were
So
like
you're limited.
How old were you?
in the 8th grade. Okay, chill.
Wow.
Like,
That is-
children.
Okay.
whoa.
All right.
And then you're like, want to go see Titanic in 3D?
Okay,
yeah.
question. Did you see that Avatar movie when it came out? The
Yeah,
Blue
but I only
guys.
saw the first one.
There's only one so far.
Okay,
So-
then I've seen that one.
It took them like a long time to make that,
8
right?
years.
Yeah, they're
right?
finally making another one.
And you know
But
what?
That movie got a Disney World area. There's a whole
you like
Avatar
that
world.
movie?
No,
Neither
man,
did
it's
I.
bad.
Yeah, it was bad. That was a bad movie.
We're not
Our
so different,
our
you and I.
friendship. Our
No,
friendship.
and that movie was trying to be something it
It was
could
trying
never
to
be.
You know what? It was trying to be a Star Wars.
Okay, when
You
they
know
had
what?
sex
And
through
you-
their tails, I was like,
Okay,
okay,
that
all
part was
right.
kind
that's
of
where I
cool.
stopped.
That was kind of
Nope.
cool.
Nope.
Yeah, that part I was
Oh,
numbered.
Cara, you never wanted to try that.
Oh,
You
okay.
never wanted to have sex with your tail? Okay.
It was
that's-
confusing
Sure,
because they
Cara.
also
Go ahead.
they ride their horses with their tails too, so it's weird. Like
They're having
Yes,
sex
they're
with their
saying
horses.
That's what they're kind of getting at. Is like,
weird.
oh, like,
They're having sex with
have
everything.
sex with the horse, maybe have sex with that tree. Like they do.
You know what, Cara? I understand you now.
Hey, number one grossing movie of all time is that movie where they have sex with horses.
Isn't it?
So
Isn't
weird.
it a James Cameron?
James
Avatar?
Cameron? Yeah, he really did that.
James,
I think
can we talk?
the number one problem with that movie, which is something that I learned, a phrase I learned from you, which it really insists on itself. It genuinely
It
was like,
does.
this is the greatest movie of all time. I'm
Yeah,
like, really? You
Have-
guys
It
saying that by yourself?
It just ripped off Dances with Wolves, and it made it like sci-fi.
What's
like,
that?
Great movie.
Great movie.
Have you
With,
seen
what's his name?
this?
Annie would
No,
hate
this
it.
is
Field of
stupid.
Dreams.
Great movie. Anyone
You know
hate
what? This is stupid.
Kevin
Yes.
Costner.
This isn't a great example of TV shows I like.
Okay.
Have you watched Community?
Yes,
Yeah.
love it.
How it's like it has a little bit of like it all kind of connects, but like each is literally its individual storyline for the most part. There's one where Abed, who's, if you haven't seen Community, this could make no sense. Abed is making a movie. Like, Shirley asked him to help her make a Jesus movie, and then he makes, like, basically, quote unquote, the ultimate movie ever. It is a film about the film, and like it's starring him, but it's starring everyone, and he almost like makes like a small little cult, and all these people are like, oh, I bet this is amazing. And at the end, spoilers, he watches it and he's like, this is literally awful, and this is like a horrible movie, and all these people are so obsessed with it because it like is insisted on itself. And Shirley hears him praying to God that like, God, please take this away from me, and please don't make me have to like actually go through with this anymore, And Shirley hears him praying and like takes a bat to all the equipment. And he like goes, he's like, you heard me praying, didn't you? And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I love her. Thank you.
I love her so much.
And she's like, he goes, you humble me. And she goes, you humble me. And it's a super cute movie. But I feel like someone should have done that to James Cameron with Avatar and been like, hey man, yeah, it could be great, or later we could look back and be like, why did we act like that was cool?
Did he get to some point and go like, this is messed up?
Or just like, this is weird.
There's this behind the scenes clip of George Lucas, and he's watching The Phantom Menace for the first time before it had come out. It's one of the Star Wars movies. And he literally...
I know.
Oh, do you?
It's one of the Star Wars movies.
It's one of the Star Wars movies. And he watches
I'm
the
going to
movie,
Google what happened.
and his first word, he goes, I may have gone a little too far with this one.
It's not what you want to hear from a director.
He made the movie, and he's
I
like,
know.
yeah.
He's like, we're in too deep. Cut it.
A little much.
Wrap.
Did you hear about the movie that is set to... They made it with that actor who's in Space Force. He's really an iconic.
Steve Carell.
No. The co-star.
John Malkovich.
Yes, John Malkovich.
I love John
and it's
Malkovich.
set to come out in 100 years. Yeah.
John Malkovich would. He'd be like,
Yeah, he would.
100 years,
flop
only
because
100
no
years.
one's gonna know who he is.
We're going to
Or will it
release this
succeed?
movie.
Time
in
capsule
100
movie.
years.
I'm John Malkovich.
But you know what? That's where I think like people who like actors who get stuck in franchises, I feel bad for. Like Tom Holland kind of like breaking out of Spider-Man in the future is going to be hard.
He's already taking a break right now.
But like, it's like he is Spider-Man. Maybe when he ages a little bit and like his like looks change. But like John Malkovich, like I just admire actors who can do so many different roles.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have a movie, and it's actually like I believe it's technically a Russian movie that I love, and it's called, the American version is called Dead Code, and he stars in it.
Yeah.
And it's basically like these two storylines, like past and future, meeting up into the middle, and it's like protecting. You know, basically the soldier is really protective over this autistic girl, and something horrible happens to her, and he's like, you know, like it's going back and forth. And John Malkovich is basically like the patriarch of this family in this like small Russian town post-Soviet era, like kind of broken Russia. And I just like look at him and I'm like, you are such a capable actor, and like you can do Space Force where it's like funny and kind of satirical, or you could do this super intense movie that's like in Russian in its original form, and like it's just so cool that he can choose to do anything. And
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, no one really questions it.
Yeah.
John Wick, and then he went back and did all those, you know.
John Wick.
He built his whole career on like goofy movies, right? Like Point Break
It's a hard life, that guy.
Bill and Ted, and then like decided like, I'm gonna be The Matrix. I'm gonna be John Wick. Like,
yeah,
that guy's had a pretty rough life. He's lost a lot of people.
rough stuff,
Dang.
man.
I was reading something. I was like, this can't. It almost seems fake.
his like
how
wife and
intense.
daughter like recently or something. Like
died in a car crash or
Yeah.
something. And then he lost his parents to some disease. It was
I
pretty
feel
rough.
like tragedy really strikes Hollywood in all aspects.
Yeah, and then but he's like a really good guy though.
Or is it just because we know all about these
Yeah,
people's
maybe because
lives?
it's projected more.
I think it's
Yeah.
right. The world
tragedy
seems.
strikes everyone.
Yeah.
I
but
think
it's
the
projected.
world seems like it's falling apart more because of like the news and social media,
Oh, yeah.
and it's like that's just because we are seeing more of what is always happening. You know.
Yeah, that's like the Russia-Ukraine conflict. We've been knowing that this is gonna happen for like decades.
Sure.
They've been saying this, and they've been talking about this and talking about invading. Like, and so the idea that's like, what, Russia invaded Ukraine out of nowhere? It's like, no,
Well, you got
we just
Putin.
kind of ignored
Yeah,
that.
it's been a
So I think
what's
like
the word?
the world can be
Long
as
time
horrible
coming.
as you make it if you're searching for it, or if you kind of just like put some blinders on, it could be as beautiful and blissful as you make
Powder
it.
keg.
Yeah.
Took a while.
Thank you.
Wow. Guys, this has been a whole circle. I can't wait. I can't wait to watch the Star Wars. Can you just let me know which one it is so I can look up the synopsis?
It's called Star Wars. Back
Just
when
the
it wasn't
first
Star
one?
Wars :
There's a bigger
We're gonna watch
conversation
Star
about-
Wars.
There's a bigger
Have you
conversation
seen
about
Star
Star
Wars?
Wars.
No. I'd seen none of them.
Then what are we even talking about, dude? Whatever. Show over. We'll see you next week on What the